Hey YouTube, I remember saying this one time to you guys already, but I really gotta reiterate this. You have all these people who are telling you because you are a people of God that you're not supposed to be financially stable, that you're not supposed to be financially situated, that you're supposed to be in turmoil, constantly in need, constantly helping people. Um, I'm gonna be real with you. Biblically, the word of God says, get your own house in order. What this means is this: financially, if you don't have the revenue to give to the church or to give to anybody because you're getting your house in order, then you're doing exactly what God has called for you to do. It is no need for you to be giving money to the church, and then within the next 2 weeks you're struggling trying to pay your gas bill, or you're struggling trying to put gas in your car, are you struggling for the utility bills, the light bill, the water bill, and other things that are going on in your home? Deal with your situation first, because God wants you to be secure. You cannot go into the world taking on challenges and the battles that you're going to take on out there in the world if you are tied down, stressed out, financially, emotionally, physically, whatever the case may be, by other things. You have to be released from that and given the opportunity to actually do what you need to do for yourself. A lot of people don't understand that. They're going to sit up there, they're going to say, well, so and so, why so and so this and why so and so that, and all this stuff. To be totally honest with you, you answer to nobody. They're going to tell you you're sinful because you have a nice place to live. You have a nice car. You may even have a jet. You know, they talk about these multi-million dollar ministries and stuff like that, but they don't know what those ministries go through to get to that point. They don't know how many years that they went through the storefront and didn't have money, and God was sending money, but they didn't never receive it. They don't know the struggle that one goes through without any assistance at all to get the ministry to where it's at. All they do, they see the ministry after, excuse me, after the work is put in, after they have done all the stressful part of it, after they don't fought off all the demons, after they don't fought all the battles. You know, people come in and they see your prosperity, but they don't know what you had to go through to get it. People can come in and wreck all your prosperity, but they don't know what you had to go through to get to that point. How many years of work was invested in that? I remember them once telling me the story of Solomon, and Solomon stood up there and he said, you know, all my great work that I have done, I just pray that it's not wasted to fools. I pray that a fool does not take over the work that I have done and it's not wasted to fools. And this was Solomon, King Solomon, who says this. He says, it took years to build what I have built. It took years to do what I have done. But even with that being said about King Solomon, the question is this: are we really building religiously for the kingdom? Are we doing all that we can for the kingdom? Are we where we supposed to be at for the kingdom? Or are we struggling to get where we need to be with the kingdom? We have these people now, they're doing their dirt, but they're ready to flip the dirt on you. They're ready to flip the problem, saying, you guys did this. You all had involvement in this. You all was partakers in this. You all did this. You all did that. And to be totally honest, you all wasn't nowhere near half of the stuff that they had going on. You guys was basically coming in as the cleanup service, trying to straighten stuff out. We have so much going on today till it's ridiculous, you know, and they want us to just go with the flow of things. Why would they want you to go with the flow of things? They want you to go with the flow of things because they feel like it's just a normal thing to do. They want you to sit up there. They want you to take abuse. You know, nobody in their right mind is going to sit up there and take abuse. That's why they gouge your eyes out and keep you in blindness, because they want you to sit there and not be combative for God. not fight for God, not fight for yourself, not fight for your family. So they gouge your eyes out. And then when your eyes ain't gouged out, you're multiple 300 on one is not a fair fight. You can't even say one on one is a fair fight when the person is sitting there basically deteriorating away. You can't even say one on one is a fair fight. So therefore, we sitting up here and we dealing with a time where they're trying to be very destructive towards us as people of God. They want our bodies destroyed. You're sitting there, you eating. All of a sudden, you're noticing the foul stuff entering your mouth. Now, what you're eating isn't defiled because you're eating actual food from restaurants that are very, up there, or even if they're not up there, they known for their food qualities of having a good food quality. But you got people sitting up there while you're eating, shoving feces down your throat. See, they're not going to tell you that part of the thing either. They're not going to tell you how you're eating and you're being held captive and they're shoving feces and urine and all this stuff down your throat. And I don't care. And don't let them lie to you and say, oh, it's because you're not serving God. Because it don't matter if you're serving God or serving Satan, they still pulling these same stunts. Same ones. All they want to do is be destructive to your body. And I'm going to be real with you. They kidnapped you probably when you was a child, so you really don't have a knowledge of your family or your personal life because all that done pretty much been erased out of you because they just created a family for you so that you can somewhat, feel normal and just go with the flow. But truth be told, you really is probably like just a child from the lodge, basically, where they done raped off a woman and she gave birth and she didn't even know she was pregnant and she's still halfway out of it. We're dealing with the truth of the situation. And guess what? To be totally honest with you, even though she knew that she had a child, she doesn't see your face. She sees the face or the image that they show her because her eyes is gouged out to keep her blind so they can keep raping her off and keep taking her through. Certified homogloss. They all in the church talking about they saved and sanctified and hiding behind masquerades. You are not saved when you raping off young babies, women's children, men. I don't care what you say. They lie. They lie constantly. We up against a battle. I can't tell you I'm sitting up here. See some of the things that people don't know. Hold on. I go through all kinds of sickness. I can't tell you half of the reason why I have this cold. This is one cold that keeps coming back because somebody keeps spitting in my mouth while I'm asleep at night. It's constantly disrespectful. Um, I can't even tell you why I have an SCD, but I can tell you that I've been raped off probably while I'm asleep at night. To be totally honest with you, and to it's not gonna stop because you stay up all night. All you're doing is depriving yourself of sleep. They really think that's the way they do it. You're just depriving yourself of sleep because even with you staying up all night, all you're gonna feel is yourself being ripped apart halfway through the night, raped off. We talk about vision compromise. When I set up there and I reported to PBSO, um reported to the FBI, reported to all these different places. Guess what? I realized that the communication system wasn't even working. None of this stuff work. All this YouTube channel and stuff like that. YouTube is ancient. This ancient stuff they don't even have. It's like video voyage or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's so old to nobody really uses it anymore. So they feel like they can get away with whatever. And people, only certain people, select people, they show these type of videos to, and the people understand because 9 times out of 10 they're in the same situation as you. They sit up there, they scream, oh, all you gotta do is ride north, and when you ride north they gonna let you out. Let me be real with you. You go up there north, riding all your doggone gas out, spending all your doggone money, You getting out there on that road. Let me be real with you. You out there on that road by yourself with a room full of people watching. The whole time they watching you, they bragging and they boasting. You done rode that road all day, all night, back and forth, all over the place and stuff like that. Your eyesight isn't getting any better. Your lifestyle isn't getting any better. Life for you isn't getting any better. The only way things are gonna get better if you stand your ground, stand your foot, stand where you at, and fight it out. And when I say fight it out, find a job. That's the first step because you're not gonna get anywhere without resources. I know you're going through all our hell because I'm gonna be real with you. We're going through hell for everything. We sign up for Medicaid. They trying to rape us off of Medicaid, housing, all these different things. Talking about that we're supposed to get the money directly, right? That's cool. I like your thought process. But what happens when the money stop coming directly and we don't have those pillars anymore? We don't have a housing authority. We don't have a food pantry. We don't have anything. Already they in the mailbox stealing the checks already out the mailbox. So guess what? If none of that stuff was put in place, guess what? Like food stamp office and all this stuff right here. If none of that stuff was put in place and they start stealing them checks out the mailbox, you just started them. And that's what they plan is. They're going to just take. And guess what? You're going to be reporting to the authority, which is them. I was a child one time and I got in a fight with a girl. And I sat up there and I told her, sister, I'm like, I'm sick and tired of your sister coming up on me and stuff like that. And one girl said to me, she said, why are you even telling her sister that? Because they sit there and talk about you to each other. Why they lay in bed together as sisters. They don't care what they do. And that's the same way right now, what we dealing with today in today's society. Okay, we're reporting to law enforcement. We're reporting to the right people. We're reporting to these people things that are going on. But guess what? Don't nobody care. You got them sitting up there, they talking about, oh, celebrities and all these freak off parties and all of this different stuff right here that's going on and taking place in different realms and stuff like that that I don't even want to enter into. But let's talk about it and let's be real. How many women are dealing with rape situations, but they're considered part of the freak off? You know, hey, we like to party, but we don't party that way. We like to party. When we party the right way. We don't party with the freaks off. We don't get it down with the whole crew. But these are the games that's played to keep you off your balance, to keep you off what you need to be on and stuff like that. They're overlooking women every day. You know the reason why they overlooking women? Men had already been embedded way before you was. Before they start putting those neurons, synthetic neurons and stuff to block your mind, they had already done that to the guys. They had already done it to you, but you didn't even know what was going on. We talk about it. We talk about it in realms and in cycles because we're talking about demonic possession. We're talking about evil people. We're talking about so many different things. And when we talk about demonic possession, it's hard to sit up there and talk about demonic possession, but demonic possession is nothing but another word for slavery. So now we're dealing with people who believe in slavery that's trying to enslave a population of people. So how would you enslave a population of people? By befriending them. Think about it. We sit up here. We sit up there. I don't know if you ever seen this movie called Alice. Alice sits up here and she goes through like this matrix type society thing where the people had enslaved her and her whole family, had her taking care of them. These people had them out of their mind, and she finally gets free because she runs away after being fed up and runs into a highway that she didn't even know highways existed. That's how dumbfounded they kept her. A lot of the things that we don't know is the things that destroy us. My people perish. Why? Because the lack of knowledge of me. But when we sit up there and we talk about learning of God, it means learning trades as well. God is the creator of all things. So what make you think that you shouldn't learn trades? What make you think that you shouldn't learn medical? What make you think that shouldn't learn law? What makes it thinks that make you think that you shouldn't learn all these things to better yourself? It's the fact that they keep us dumbfounded. This is a part of the demonic possession. God is knowledge. God is wisdom. God is love. So guess what? If I can keep you away from enlightening yourself, you will stay that way. I'm gonna be real with you. I work. I'm a workaholic. I'm not gonna even lie. I work. The reason why I work because I want results. I like results. I love results, and I like getting stuff done. But what I found in this season, okay, minimum wage is supposed to be 15.75. What I found in this season, I'm not making 15.75. They only want to pay 14 something. And I'm saying to them, I say, well, people, 14 something can't cover $1,500 rent bill without me struggling and without me on a program. So basically, I feel like you guys are trying to force me on a program and force me into poverty with not paying me adequately, knowing that the cost of living is requiring more, but you ready to pay less. Why are you paying less when you know the cost of living is more? Why can't you all afford it? Then they have these signs up talking about, oh, minimum wage is 7.25, 8.25. Um, none of them reached 10 yet, basically from what they're showing me. But guess what? What I'm dealing with is I'm going looking for apartments. Apartments 1,500. Can do you really believe the cost of living is 725 when rent is 1,500 for a one bedroom, one bath? That's not gonna even work. And even if it was 725 and the rent was $500, it's still not going to work because you're not making enough to sustain yourself the way you need to sustain yourself. So they sitting up there, they giving you 14 something, 15 something, and it's not supplying the needs that you really need so that you can stay struggling, so that you can stay possessed. You know what I'm saying? If everything that you got, you're giving it to somebody else, you're never gonna have. You're never gonna have. So that's why when we get to the end of the market, everybody say, "Well, what do that person have? Do they have a house?" No, we ain't got a house. Why don't they have a house? Because first of all, they were paid. They were not paid fair wage. You have to pay a person fair wage for them to be able to afford a house. But guess what? I'm gonna tell you how God works. I received three stimulants. Kid you not, God is my witness. I received three stimulants. One for 1,400, one for 600, and one I think it was 12. With all three of those, I had done already. With those three, I got a apartment. I practically furnished most of it. I didn't have a lot of furniture, but I leased the sofa, and the rest of it I was trying to collect and build up. I had paid the rent up 3 months ahead. I had so much stuff already situated with what I had obtained. Just with the little bit that they gave me. They gave me three checks. Those three checks in different amounts. It was like a few months apart from each other. I started to situate myself where I wouldn't have to stress. When people see you situating yourself where you didn't have to stress, they start stealing the checks out the mailbox. She don't have to stress. Why she ain't got the stress? She's supposed to be stressed out. Why she ain't got the stress? She ain't got the stress because she doing what she's supposed to do. I know money management. I know accounting. But guess what? If I'm not faithful with my money will dwindle away. Of course, I'm constantly helping my family because my family is constantly in need now because they're struggling. I'm struggling. Everybody's struggling. I'm waiting on everybody to get, somewhat up on their feet a little bit, the same way I'm trying to get up on my feet. But one hand washes the other, which washes the face. I may not have money today, but if I help you today, maybe tomorrow you will help me. Or if you help me today, maybe tomorrow I'll be able to help you. I don't know how it plays. I'm just praying that things, elevate and get better. But nobody knows what we're going through from day to day to day to day, trying to survive. But when they see us and they see a little bit of progress, and this is the sad part, the progress is so minor that it's scary. The little small progress they see, they start to begin to get threatened. You ain't seen real growth yet. You ain't seen real elevation. All you seen was progress. I signed up to be a vendor. Now, I remind you, this is when I'm in the trenches. I don't have no money. I don't have no nothings. I say, you know what? I can work. I can work for myself. Let me sign up to be a vendor to work for myself. So I signed up with Palm Beach County to be a vendor. Guess what? People say I'm gonna send you out a card. The card's gonna have money on it so that you can work for yourself. We sending you the money. I go back up there to the office. The office say, ain't no money guy. We didn't send out no card. We don't work like that. All kinds of stuff. So it's now one told me they did. The other one told me they didn't. The money never showed up. I'm just saying. I can testify to this as a witness. I signed up for my Cage ID. My Cage ID still hasn't showed up. I put one time $600 on my PayPal card. Um, I put $600. The whole $600 was pretty much to take care of what needed to be taken care of, because at that point, that was like almost close to my final check that I was getting before the summer this year. And I was like, let me go ahead and knock this stuff out. So I paid for my teacher's exam to go ahead and finish teaching. I was going to pay for to be a substitute to make sure that I have my substitute certification up to date just in case. And I got my teacher certification just in case. I'm just knocking out a bunch of different things, like just in case I need, I got it. I can sustain myself. I can supply for myself. I can do what I got to do for myself. I don't have to stress about anything. There is resources there. Guess what happened? None of it went the way I wanted to go. Card ended up, as soon as $600 hit the card, something about they bought pipes from a supply house or something. Needless to say, I still ain't got my card back yet. Made a police report online. I made a physical police report online. Made reports about what took place and everything. Made a report about them stealing mail out my mailbox. All this stuff. Guess what? They don't care. Stimulus checks stole. They don't care. One woman stole stimulus checks right in front of me. I gave them the woman who stole it. Guess what? They ain't put that woman in handcuffs yet. She sat up there. I'm seeing her and the postal worker handed the woman somebody else stimulus check. She was finna get two of them from the postal worker directly. Directly from the postal worker. Stealing it directly from the people. Guess what? They still ain't in handcuffs, and I called the police. These people don't do nothing for our people. All they want to do is see our people in turmoil and agony. So why are we holding to them? They want commissioner seats. You want a commissioner seat? Then show me you're a commissioner. Why is people struggling in your community? Why we don't never have nothing? Why is we constantly being stole from? Why is we being used like we slaves instead of like we regular people? I guess this is how y'all run things. And then you get mad when somebody run against you, but you shouldn't be mad at all, because truth be told, a nigga just tired of this. And then when we run up against you, you sitting up there, y'all want to talk about y'all putting pressure. This, to be totally honest with you, this is stuff we've been going through constantly. Even when we working, even when we mind our own business, we just doing what we got to do. We've been going through this. We've been in the trenches for far too long. It's just like every day. Because we done been in the trenches so long. Time out for that, man. It's time to elevate. Where's the where's the growth? I once told my brother, I say, I don't stay in relationships where I'm not growing. I'm gonna be real with you. I just, to be totally honest, my last relationship, I stayed in that relationship. I wasn't growing. I kept dwindling down, just kept going down, going down, going down. So I ended up with nothing. I started to realize why we don't stay in relationships where there's no growth. Why would I want to stay in a city where there's no growth? Why I want to stay in communities where there's no growth for us? We have to change the process of things. It's not that we want to be dictators. It's not that we want to go up against people. Man, do you know how hard it is in those seats when we getting reports of how bad they torturing the commissioners? They boastful. These jokers boastful. Yeah, we took so and so through. Yeah, they're a commissioner, but we done took them through. We done did this, blase, blase, and that's the reason why so and so can't get nothing done for us. Leave them alone. But this is what we face with. The community going through the same torture the commissioners going through. Commissioners going through torture. Everybody going through all this mess and nobody got a face to put with it because we the city of the blind. Why are we blind? Because we forgot about God. But at the same time, it's not to say that that should even be a motive. Because I'm now it's time for me to come to you real. Because if we forgot about God, you closing a person's eyes isn't making them remember God at all. But because you done came up with the ideology, if they're not serving God, then we're using them as slaves. And we know it's wrong. But guess what? The main ones who talking about if they're not serving God, we using them as slaves, came up with this system to keep control, and they're sinful and they're evil people. So these ain't even people of God that's doing this, trying to force people to serve God. These are sinful, ungodly people that's trying to force people to serve God because they know that the people of God don't like to get in a lot of stuff. So this is why they coming out, serving God is slavery. Serving God is slavery. No, it's not. It's a way to protect yourself. But at the same time, they're hidden topics that other people aren't talking about because they don't want to hit on it. They don't want to hit on what's really going on. How people of God, you got virgins being raped off. Little girls are virgins. Them virgins. But guess what? You got little boys raping them off. And those little boys aren't boys, but they're grown men. Raping those little girls off, laying number pipe, right? To 8-year-old girls and 7-year-old girls and all kinds of stuff. But they're coming in the image of a little boy. Nobody's talking about this type of stuff. But guess what? They've been blind these young people off. They've been blind us off. They've been bound us. What biblical would say, we've been bound and stuff like that for the theft. Because we are considered the rich people because we have God. So God provided all this for us. So we consider rich, so they ready to steal it all off and stuff like that. You got people boasting right now, a man's boasting, saying, hey, I used to feed everybody in the community. All the men came to my house to eat. But at the same time, he a certified predator and rapist, and he likes to sleep with men. But he had people enslaved up under them because they had done got rid of the system that was in that community. And when the government started sending money to the people directly, they stole all the money. So the people didn't get no money, no jobs, know nothing, and basically they had to behold to that person who was raping them and their family off. And they had to take that. But they don't tell those stories like that. They ain't talking that story like that. They ain't talking how they trying to enslave our people like that. You understand what I'm saying? And we're not aware because my people perish. Why? Because the lack of me, the lack of wisdom, the lack of knowledge, the lack of growth. Everything is growth. Everything is knowledge. Guess what? If we don't know the laws and we go into that courtroom, we lose. Why? Because we lack knowledge. Had we had the knowledge, we wouldn't lose. The devil know this. The devil know his rules out there for him to keep him in check. The devil know every evil person. There's rules out there for that evil person. But guess what? If you don't know nothing about it, you can't do nothing. Who gonna stop him? So the same way you read the Bible, you should be reading the laws too, because this is what governs the land, right? Because it was put in place by people of God. But at the same time, guess what? If you don't know nothing about the laws of the land, you can't stop them. And even knowing something about the laws of the land, what I have came aware of, okay, because I'm not an attorney, you feel like it's okay to do your dirt. Or if I'm not a doctor, you feel like it's okay to misdiagnose. Knowing that you know what the diagnosis is, you have sat there and observed the abuse and all of that, but at the same time, you misdiagnose every time. There is no way you should be going into a doctor's office and you're saying, I haven't been sexually active for a certain amount of time, and law enforcement haven't been called in because you have an enlarged vagina, married or unmarried. It should have been reported to law enforcement for documentation. But guess what? They ain't reporting it to law enforcement because guess what? They plan to say, oh, we don't have rapes in our community. We don't have this. We don't have that. Gouging your eyes out and lying consistently. For me, at this point, I feel like we don't even have law enforcement. I feel like we got a bunch of clowns joking around, and the real law enforcement is hidden somewhere doing some office paperwork or paper pushing, or might have already left law enforcement because they don't see the motive of them staying there with the corruption. So it's getting ridiculous. But guess what? Who's documenting? Who's reporting it? I'm gonna be real with you. They starting to delete reports out of the system. I sat up there and I said to the people, I said, I didn't get any paperwork on a hearing. Oh, well, we sent it. Your case is closed for your disability. That's what I still struggle with. Can't hardly breathe. I have to stand up on my feet all day and work in pain and in agony. Didn't nobody care. This is what they told me. Well, if you can work, you just fight through. Whole purpose of Social Security disability is to actually establish a claim ahead of time. So when you get terminally ill, that claim is already there to actually like be fully implemented. But what they're doing is this. They're saying, okay, well, you're not sick. When you die, guess what? Nobody sues them to establish a claim that you could have saved her or him before this. Nobody sued them yet for this negligence. And we haven't talked about these situations. We are allowing them to get away with bloody murder. We have to do something to stop this mess. Honestly, get in contact with the right people. It's so hard to just get documentation to verify certain stuff. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What's supposed to be free, the Freedom Information Act, it's no longer free. Anything pertaining to you is supposed to be free. Guess what? I went to the Social Security office and asked for a paperwork. They wanted to charge me $100 for the paper. What happened to the Freedom of Information Act? That's not existent now. We talk about Roe versus Wade. Let's talk about the Freedom of Information Act that says, okay, anything pertaining to me with my name, my identity on it, I'm supposed to have access to it and get it for free from the government. But guess what? Now they want to charge $100 just to find out who all your past employers are. How is this? And see, every law that was implemented back in the days, they want to do away with. Why? Because they're trying to go into a slave system. They have no respect for civil rights. They have no respect for the law. They have no respect for Congress. They have no respect for nothing. And this is the sad part about it. This is my biggest fear. They have already embedded a bunch of laws that are unconstitutional in action to sit up here and basically rip off and take from the United States, where we become eventually a state of poverty. We eventually fall completely into poverty and become a third world country, if not worse. They care nothing for us. We're hated everywhere because of people getting away with inappropriate activities, inappropriate things. Wake up, people. Put on the whole armor of God. Whole armor of God says, okay, but look, I'm going to re-educate myself. We are lifelong long learners. We have to learn eternally. We get on these jobs, we have to elevate through training and training ourselves in learning, growing wisdom in the trades that we're growing in, to the point where we become masters in those trades like God would be. God is a master. I want to be identical to my master. So therefore, I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to learn everything that I can possibly learn in whatever trade that I'm in. I want to be able to do everything from the administrative part to all the way to the surgical part, all the way to the back door, man, to know the body. If I'm going to go into law, I want to be able to do everything from the Senate on down, House, Representative, whatever, Congress, whatever. I want to know it all. I want to make sure that I have it. I want to know the judicial system. I want to know it all. I want to know the Supreme Court system. I want to know it back and forward. And trust me, you're not going to get it in a book. I told my son the other day, I say, son, listen to me. These people ain't going to teach you what you need to know. You're going to have to learn it on your own. You're going to have to learn it on your own. I use two systems in public schooling to teach students. I use Khan Academy. Khan Academy is an express program. Well, it's going to give you a way to speed through learning. It's like a accelerated program. It's going to speed you through. It's just going to give you those fundamental keys and stuff like that. So a lot of times I implement Khan Academy in my lessons. Then the next thing I do, I use IXL, which is a breakdown program. So we're going to break it down step by step so that you understand it. We might do that one week. Next week we're doing Khan Academy, until we get you proficient on your grade level. A lot of people don't like that. That's how I do it. You understand what I'm saying? Find activities, play, whatever the case may be. And I told my son, I say, son, listen to me. They're not going to teach you what you need to know in those schools. We go to school, they're going to give you a certain amount. A lot of times we don't even have the timeline to actually teach everything. You have to have the same teacher in the class to actually create a timeline to get all the other Florida statutes taught within that timeline. The hardest part is this. You have students that you have to take back. So not only are you teaching Florida statutes for this year, you're teaching Florida statutes for years and years ahead, years ahead, and years behind. And you have to do a proper timeline for all of that stuff. And guess what? You start getting the training done, they want to rotate you out. So the kids never really complete the progress or the learning tools that they supposed to have or what they supposed to be doing. And it begins to become destructive for you. They don't know all this. It's hard for me to even explain half of the stuff that these kids are supposed to be able to retain and not getting. But like I said, We do the best. I told my son, I say, baby, you're gonna have to teach yourself. You're gonna have to learn it yourself. We and this is the best part about it. They got instructional software. They put that instructional software for their people. I'm using it. Typees, learning computers. Look, I'm using it. I don't know much, but y'all listen to me. Instructional software is a new wave. If we don't pick that stuff up and we don't grab a hold of these instructional software and these programs that are out there to teach ourselves, our children, and our families, we're going to lose majorly. They ain't going to give us what we need. They're not going to do what they're supposed to do to help us. We are going to lose if we don't teach it to ourselves. So remember what I'm telling you guys. Remember what I'm Go get it yourself. You've been out of school a long time, go back, redo a lot of that stuff. Algebra, chemistry, geometry. Try to re-educate yourself on all that stuff, man. Because I can't tell you, as I did a Duolingo app, the ABC Duolingo. I can't tell you somebody stole my app. Did all the educational stuff for Duolingo, that Duolingo app. It took me a while to complete that app almost, and I got almost to the completion. I think I only had like one or two more levels to go. All the data cleared. They don't know how much work that takes, and then they want to start you back at the beginning. No, sweetheart, no. I worked too hard to get where I'm at. We don't start back at the bottom. I'm like Taraji P. Henson. Baby, every time I got to start back at the bottom, I'm sick of the being back at the bottom trying to start all the way over again. I made a name for myself the first time. Why I gotta start all the way over again? That's how I feel sometimes with my education and my learning. Okay, I have done the work already. Now I gotta start all the way back at the bottom again to get it back straight. With no help, no nothing. But everybody wanna take. You ain't in the trenches doing the work, so why are you constantly taking? You're not in the trenches having to go through. Why are you constantly trying to have what I have when you can? And this is the sad part. They could easily do what I do. Some of them are doing what I do, but you still want what I have. Yours ain't good enough for you, covenants. That's a covenant spirit. You trying to have something that ain't yours, and you got the same access. That's a covenant spirit. That's why God say, "Thou shalt not covet." You trying to have what I have, that's not yours. Get your own. But this is what we up against every day. Stop letting people in the game room. Hey, I set up though. I sat up there and I heard a young man. He said it today. He sat up there and he said, I was watching YouTube and he sat up and he said, you can't tell evil people good things. Because when they hear good things, they don't want you to have it. So you can't tell evil people good things. I'm on here, I'm divulging this. I'm not divulging it to the evil. I'm not divulging it to the good. I'm just divulging it because I feel like it has to be told one way or another. Because I never know when I have to pick up traces of my testimony to save myself and the good that remains in me. So I sit up here and I divulge it. I don't even be can. I'm starting to learn that our people been held captive for so long by ungodly people, and then they have the nerve to sit up there and say they for us. They want a joker to care about them, and they don't care nothing about us. They want you to sacrifice your life for them. They ain't even got a life to give you. I remember I was dating dudes, and I'm telling you, I was dating the dudes, and I'm going through so much hell with the dudes. I was like, well, why the hell am I dating you when I'm going through hell just to be with you? It was heartache just to be with you. It's hard to be with you. Why is it hard to be with them? Because they didn't want to be there. I guess I wasn't pretty enough, cute enough, whatever the case may be. I love me. I think I'm worth it, even if you don't. So I'm gonna get my unpretty self somewhere and focus on me. When you sit up there and you see that they can't take that, you be like, well, why you can't take me trying to do for me and care for me and be for me and try to have for me? You're so much against me. Why are you so much against me for? They're against you because they was never for you to begin with. They was sunning on assignments. How many times I gotta tell y'all, these dudes, when they sat up there and they told me what they was, I ain't never wanted to date them. Them jokers been trying to take me out my mind for the longest and get me to date one. I was like, nah, I ain't dating no woman, I ain't dating no man, I ain't dating no nothing. I'm not having sex with nothing. No, nothing. Nothing. Am I being raped off? Yeah. Am I going through all I have? Yeah. Am I broke as hell? Yeah. But I prefer to be broke than to be rich with a dude that don't care nothing about me. And that's real talk. Cause these dudes out, they buy money, they buy cars, they buy their clothes. Be totally honest with that materialistic stuff they don't even be on. They be on some old other stuff. Guess what? Women, the moment you date them men, and men, the moment you date them women trying to take complete control of you. I once heard this guy. I was watching Holy Heartbeats on YouTube, and the guy started talking about how he was dating this older girl and she had money, and she began to rule over him. He didn't even say it in them words. He just like she began to rule over him. Like he began to behold to her. He really didn't, was able to make a decision for himself to be strong like a man's supposed to be strong, or make his own decision. Guess what? Women, we going through the same thing in these trenches. Know what y'all dealing with. Know to make sure you're dating the right thing. It's not easy out here. Make sure y'all know what y'all doing. God bless. May these words encourage you. Step.